Yes, indeed. New York City, around the world. It's the Mix King, Ron G. On the line right now, we got a close friend of mine, Queen Pen from Brooklyn, New York City. What's up, Queen?
What's the deal? Yo, you got that voice. Only you. Only you.
Yeah, I try to keep it live. I had this voice for like 25 years.
Yes, with the hypeness, with the everything.
I've been trying to be forever young.
Yeah, it's working for you.
Thanks. So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Always been a fan since you first came out. How did you get your first record deal?
How?
And what year did you get your record deal?
Well, as I recall, it was like around 90. I think it was 96, 97. And what happened was, back in the days, I was in and out of me and my homegirl Tish, who passed away some years ago. We was back and forth doing our thing between New York and North Carolina and up here. I always was around Teddy. And, one day I was like, yo, he bust out laughing. It was like, word on his side. You got a CD? I was like, I don't got no CD. He's like, I go back to the future. That was a studio that Teddy had on Virginia Beach Boulevard back in the days. It was called The Future. And he made me spit him and spit him, and he banged me out with the, yo, you are dope. You're a little hard, but you dope. And I can't do nothing for you right now, but as soon as I can, I got you. And like a year and a half later, he came back. I was on the corner, Notion and Park Place. And he sent a mutual friend of ours, Dave, from East New York, to look for me. And Dave was like, yo, Teddy just hit me up. The Black Sheep Project, they got this song, No Diggity. They're trying to make him put this person on and that person. But he said, Joe, please go find me Lanice. And I was on the plane the next day. I wrote my part to No Diggity. I got my check. Because they was like, well, we can administrate your publishing for you. But what people don't know is you don't have to have a record deal. Back then, I was like, yo, I can't hustle forever. I'm going to get me a deal. And I happened to just set up my publishing stuff with ASCAP, Queen Pen Music. And, I said, well, 6 months, if I don't get a deal, I'll just, keep recertifying it. And I was like, nah, I got my own publishing, Queen Pen Music Inc., ASCAP. Thank you for the check. Went home. And honestly, Ron, I didn't know what was going to happen. Me and my homegirls was riding down the ad, riding down Nostrand, and No Diggity came on. And I was like, yo, this is the joint. And we all sitting there waiting. We pulled over. I said, they probably took me off of that shit. And my part came up, and that was it. That's how I got my deal.
Yeah, for me, when I heard No Diggity, I was amped up. I'm a Dre fan. I grew up around Teddy Riley. I'm from Harlem. And, I'm right across the street from Rooftop. So I remember when he was down with the kids at work and all that. Mm-hmm. So I go way, way back. And when I heard that No Diggity, I was like, wow, she is hot. What was it like working with Teddy?
Teddy is a perfectionist. Teddy is honestly one thing nobody would ever be able to take. You could take from him is that he is a genius in what he does. And working with him, I learned so much, but it was like going to the school of hard knocks. And to this day, it's the same thing. Like being back recording with him, it's like one of those situations where you got to just follow his lead, trust him, and then eventually you'll be like, oh, okay, now I understand why he did this. Now I understand what he's saying. Now I understand. But he's like, you're in the booth, and you're never coming out until you get it the way Teddy Ear hears it. Whoever out there is listening and they know and they work with him, then to work with him is to understand him. There's a method to his madness.
When I heard your album, when he first came out with the first album, I'm gonna tell you right now, A Party Ain't a Party is a classic still to this day. That joint right there to me was one of the hottest joints of that era, one of the hottest songs on the album. What songs did you feel and what songs did you like on your albums the most?
I liked A Party Ain't a Party I love Party Ain't a Party. I love True. And I liked, You know what it was? I liked the joint, and I think it was like number 11. It's at the end of the album called So Many Ways. You gotta remember, back then, I was, and me and you, we've known each other for quite some time.
Of course, we go back for sure.
We go way back. So, like, honestly, Ron, I was really, really, really rough back then, and like I said, I was a street chick. I was out there, and I was a chick, but I was moving how dudes move back then. So my roughness was, was who I was. But Teddy was more so on the tip of trying to mold me, trying to make a young woman, eye me. But like the joint, So Many Ways, that joint was like really, it was really hard and rough, but that's really who I was. I'm not saying everything else wasn't who I was on the album, but that was the side of me that musically wise, the public never really, reality wise, people knew me to be, Queen Pen, she buck, she real, she this. But musically wise, people never got to really see, and I never really expressed too much in my music, my life. And I like the joint with Phil Collins.
For me, you were one of the first real female artists in the game. You was one of the first female artists I ever met that was real. What do you feel about hip-hop right now? As far as from a female point of view, what do you feel about the female rappers that's out there right now?
Which female rappers? There's nobody out. One thing that I can say is that another thing that we can't, no matter, how I personally feel about a person and how I feel, one thing we can't take away with the Nicki Minaj situation is she's keeping the door cracked, not open, but, cracked for female artists, for female rappers, female hip-hop artists right now, because she is out. There's nobody really out right now besides her. So, the thing is the door going to fully reopen?
What's up next for Queen Pen?
Working, I just started. I have the 2 books out. I have Situations, and which I ended up self-publishing, and I did so well. That means a 2-book deal with Simon & Schuster, and I put out, Blossom. I have Blossom out. I'm about to put out my 3rd book. I just started back recording. I have my new legislation in New York State on the table where I'm changing all the laws on domestic violence. I'm working on a re-entry bill with a few of the elected officials in New York State where we're working on a bill for, people coming home from incarceration, to make society, after paying their debt, a little bit easier. So, I have my program, a team. I'm on Rikers and the IID program. I'm doing something. We just finished taping the pilot for the reality show with me. I have 5 children I'm raising.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I was diagnosed with a pituitary brain tumor some years, in 2001, which led to, other problems. So I'm like, dealing with my health, with my kids. So it was, the show was really like, when I look at it, it's like it bugged me out because it's just the difference is I'm Queen Pen, living in Brooklyn, New York. My job description is just different from the girl Shaniqua up the block. But Bob, do you really remember how long you know me? Like, I think
I remember running to you all over the world, Queen Pen.
Bob, but you know before No Diggity.
I remember I used to run into you in L.A., all kinds of places, and you always showed me love. You always kept it real, so.
Yes, it's way more than 13 years, and I appreciate you even giving me that, opportunity for the platform. You know what I'm saying? To let people know, what I'm working on and what I'm doing. And if you ever need me for anything, I got your back. I'm here. My Twitter is Queen Pen 5, the number 5. My Facebook is Lanice Queen Pen Walters, and my website. Y'all gotta check out my website, queenpenmusic.com.
All right?
Yes.
Ron G,
Baby.
Queen Pen.